Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's Barbecue Joints, and in this episode I talked to Amy Mills from 17th Street Barbecue. They have two locations of their restaurants. They have one in Murfreesboro, that's the original one, Murfreesboro, Illinois. The second one is in Marion, Illinois. We talk about the restaurants. I was really excited. We get into Peace, Love, and Barbecue, it's right behind me. It's the very first barbecue book I ever received and ever read, and it's fantastic, and it's got stories and recipes. It's so killer, and it's still on the bestseller list after all these years. We talk about their new book, Praise the Lard, Praise the Lard, and we also talk about her consulting wing, which is called OnCue Consulting, which is a cool thing that they put together where you come out to their location in Murfreesboro and you spend time with her father, spend time with her, other pit masters, other professionals. It's learning the ropes about opening a barbecue restaurant, which is extremely, extremely important if you're going to do that. So I'll put a link below for that. We also talk about what it's like growing up in a barbecue family, about the barbecue family that she now has that's expanded globally because of the barbecue industry and everything that she does. I think you'll really enjoy it. Please check it out. And if you do like what you see, please subscribe. I'll be adding a new interview every week. Thanks so much.
Well, good afternoon, Amy.
How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm great. How are you doing today?
Excellent.
Do you have a busy day today?
Very busy.
What does a usual day look like for you? Or is there not a usual day? Or what is a...
There is no usual day. I have actually been in Nashville on book tour doing a couple of events. So I just got back last night, and today I'm back in the office, and I'm working on a new project. We have a factory that we're building to bottle barbecue sauce, and wow. I'm working with some new people we've just hired in our catering department, and I'm just answering millions of emails and trying to get T-shirts reordered and ads created and
wow.
all kinds of things.
Wow. Well, thank you for taking the time out of that crazy schedule.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Well, I wanted to get into the book. I wanted to get into OnCue. I wanted to get in the restaurants. But I kind of wanted to know a little bit of your background and what it was like growing up in a barbecue family.
Sure. I didn't really think it was that special. I didn't realize it was special growing up in under Mike Mills until much later in my life. But, you know, my family has just always barbecued, and we have always had a family barbecue sauce that until she died, my grandmother made.
Okay.
You know, really up until about almost 1998, she was making it. And then, you know, when production got to be a little overwhelming, we had to start finding another way to get that sauce made. So, you know, I thought we always ate really well. When I first moved to Dallas, back in the late 80s, I tried barbecue there. And, you know, at that point, Dallas was not really known for barbecue or didn't really have any great barbecue. And I was really disappointed. I was looking for this taste of home, and that's not what our barbecue tasted like.
Okay.
So I didn't realize how special it was, and I had to go away and then come back.
Kind of, really. That's like how a lot of things in life are, I imagine.
Exactly.
So how long is the restaurant, the first one? When did it open up?
Well, 17th Street opened in 1985.
Okay.
And before that, from the mid-'70s till probably 1983, my dad had a different bar called The Corner, Corner Tap. And there, he was really more interested in selling alcohol. And he would do barbecues and fish fries on the weekends and give the food away in order to entice people to come and buy more booze.
Okay, that makes sense.
Then he decided to switch that around a little bit and start charging for the barbecue when we opened the new place.
Okay, and so, but was that a dream of his always to? I know because he had the bar, but did he want to have a restaurant, or was that in the back of his mind that maybe someday I might open a restaurant?
Maybe it was. He was a dental technician, and he cooked every day in his dental lab. So he and my uncle might go fishing or hunting before work, and they would come in and clean their wildlife and use the boil-out tanks to dunk the birds and boil them and do all kinds of crazy things. But always, you know, he had something cooking, and his friends would come for lunch. Even the UPS man time his delivery so he could show up for lunch and be fed too.
Oh, that's great.
But it's always been a passion.
Now, did you work in the restaurant at the beginning, or did you come on board later on? Or I don't know.
No, I never worked in the restaurant because I was in high school and then away at school when all of that started. And so I always worked for my uncle in his catalog showroom business. And that's actually the room where you see me right now. This was a store at one time. And I worked, the grass is always greener working for somewhere else, right? For someone else, not dad. Right. And at the corner, you know, I was too young and too female to work there.
That makes sense. Then, so when did you come on board for 17th Street, or did you work with Big Apple? Oh, no, what didn't you? Apple City, don't you guys? The team, the barbecue team. Did you guys?
Oh, the team. No, I really was not involved in the team. You know, in the first go round. Again, I was in college and then had moved away during all of that. Okay. So I was there for the last time they won, but I was really never part of the barbecue team. But when Apple City disbanded, you know, we call 17th Street the home of Apple City Barbecue. Okay. So that was where you could then get that barbecue every day at 17th Street. So that's why my dad, on the back of all of his shirts, he loves that Apple Man that he
yes, I love that.
Displays on there with, you know, Apple City Barbecue, Murfreesboro, Illinois.
It's synonymous for sure.
Right. He wants to make sure that name never dies.
That's great. Now, did you have a background in marketing? I'm assuming you did.
So I went away to journalism school. I ran far and fast from Murfreesboro, and I went away to journalism school in Missouri. And then I lived very briefly in Dallas, where I worked for a major ad agency, and then moved to Boston. So I've always had some sort of advertising, marketing, PR job. And when I was home once, probably 15 years ago at this point, even maybe 17 years ago, my dad handed me this little Post-it note, and he said, we call these people back for me. And it turns out it was a writer for Martha Stewart Living magazine. And she said, oh, thanks for calling me, but I called 3 weeks ago, and I was looking for some information about mail order barbecue, but I've already written the article. My deadline has passed. And so I went back to my dad, and I said, Daddy, start giving me those little pieces of paper because I missed this great opportunity. So I just started, you know, kind of in a PR function, even though I was still living in Boston, and I still divide my time between Boston and here.
That's what I thought.
But I would follow up on PR requests and then, you know, initiate PR and different things that were happening. And as long as I had a cell phone and FedEx and a computer, I can really work from almost anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And now did you, when you came on board, did you have any inkling at all about how big barbecue was it becoming big when you first, or it's at a level right now, which is pretty amazing. I'm sure it blows your dad away too.
It really grows every year. And, you know, there have been years when I think this is it. This is the pinnacle, but it still continues. So, you know, really a lot of rapid changes. But the first time my dad was really ever written about nationally was in 1994 in Vogue magazine. Okay. So barbecue has been around for a long time, and he has had the benefit of getting some great national press for a really long time. You know, at that point, he'd been on Good Morning America a few times, but, you know, it certainly accelerated. And I would say, really, you know, when we wrote Peace, Love, and Barbecue, things had been changing rapidly around that point. Things were accelerating. I really have to give Danny Meyer and Blue Smoke a huge amount of credit for, you know, where barbecue is today with the mainstream media because of the Big Apple Barbecue Block Party, you know, which they started to say, hey, you know, we are legitimate. Look, these are our barbecue friends, and there are these famous people from all over the country. You know, that really gave us a platform in New York City to meet and mingle with all kinds of media with whom we would not necessarily know. They wouldn't travel to our little corners of the world.
That's quite possible, yes.
A huge opportunity, an amazing experience. And, you know, this June was the 15th.
Has it been 15 years?
15 years. Yeah. So lots of changes and lots of things have happened in those 15 years. But there's still some things that are always very constant in the barbecue world, and that's great.
Yeah, and it kind of boils down to consistency, quality, and heart, and having a passion for it. And it's always shown. What's that again?
I said the cream continues to rise.
and it always will. Yeah, there'll always be new, like, up and comers trying to do it, but it's, you know, in the end, it's the ones that have the most passion and really the desire.
Right.
And Fortitude.
And lots of people will make it. There are lots of new barbecue heroes out there right now, which is so great. You can't ever not have new people, or your industry will die. It can't just stay stagnant or the same.
And it's exciting because it used to be really hard, especially even in Los Angeles, to get good barbecue or decent barbecue, and now it's growing, and especially across the United States as well.
That's exciting.
Now, for you, with Peace, Love, and Barbecue, did you realize you didn't realize how big that book would be? I know that was one of the very first barbecue books I ever got, and I'm sure that is.
Well, I knew it would be special because I had an inside track, and I could get people to talk to me and tell me all kinds of things. I think people talk to each other differently than they talk to a journalist, and so I knew the questions to ask, and I sort of knew where I wanted some of those conversations to go. And, they would just chat and tell me all kinds of things. So I knew it would be a special book and unlike any other book that's out there. And I'm, really gratified that it continues to sell so well. And now with Praise the Lord, which is doing really well and has been so exciting,
fantastic.
That's kind of Peace, Love, and Barbecue back up again as well. But, it's really never fallen out of the top 100. The last time I looked, I think it was like 68. And that's going into its 13th summer. So that's pretty good.
That is phenomenal. Well, congratulations on that. That's just great. That's kind of unheard of in the publishing world.
Well, it's evergreen, and I'm really happy about that. I'm happy about that, too, because that book really, while it talked about 17th Street and us, it's really the story of 58 of our best barbecue friends. We've talked about 58 different people there, and really, shine a spotlight on people who didn't have a platform before. And it's done some amazing things for other people's businesses, and I'm really proud of that.
That's nice. And that kind of lends back to the whole barbecue family that I'm sure that you had probably a small barbecue family, but now your barbecue family is enormous. And tell me,
it is enormous.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
Huge. Well, we've been fortunate to travel extensively, and we always eat barbecue wherever we go. We have people we know from the competition circuit. We have people we know from the restaurant world, and it really does just continue to grow. And now with OnCue, we have had over 700 people from 45 states and 16 countries come to Murfreesboro and take part in these classes. And many of them either had a barbecue business or have started a barbecue business. So that's amazing to have, helped or touched that many different people. And they've touched us as well. We learn just as much from them by the questions they ask or experiences they tell us about. It's really a win-win all around.
And go into a little bit about OnCue and what that is.
Okay, so OnCue is our consulting arm of our company, and we started that 7 years ago. I would notice that people would come to 17th Street and they want to sit at the foot of the master and chat about barbecue. And my daddy will talk to anybody all day long about barbecue, sometimes to the detriment of our own business. And so I decided to start having these classes because we could get more people in and get more people involved and really take care of some of the consulting requests that we get that we can't always fulfill, or that people can't afford a full consulting package. So, they cost enough to be, you have to be serious to want to come to one of these classes, but they are also an excellent investment if you are already in the business and you just want to learn a few little tips and tricks.
Oh, for sure.
Or the Iron Curtain, or if you don't know what you're doing at all. We've had people who come and they see all of this and they say, that is way too much work. I'm not going to get into that business.
Which is good.
Or they were energized. Right. They had to pay a very small amount to figure out, to save a lot of money later.
Exactly. It's a lot cheaper than investing in an entire restaurant.
Right. And they go home and they start, they're even more excited about getting into the business. So
yeah, I've talked to a lot of different people that have come to OnCue and that have actually opened up restaurants. Yeah, it's a great resource, and I'm sure it's a fun getaway, and it's exciting to be around you guys and get energized.
Well, and we feel really strongly about having that here because one of our mantras is barbecue is a culture, not a concept. And so we want people to come here and absorb our culture and see what we have going on here. And people are pretty amazed. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere, but we have a lot going on.
And what exactly do you have going on there? You have 2 restaurants. How far away are the restaurants from each other?
The restaurants are 22 miles apart. And then we have this facility, it's called the warehouse that you see behind me. And this is our event space. So we have 2 event rooms. One holds 300 people and it expands to hold 500. The other one holds, 50 to 80 people. We have a catering kitchen, mail order. We have a lot of things under the roof here. And this facility really allows us to put those classes on and have some great space in which to work. If we just had our restaurant, we would not be able to do those classes.
That'd be very difficult. Are there classes coming up in the fall that are available still?
Yes, we have a catering masterclass that's coming up in November.
Okay.
And I cannot tell you what exact date.
That's okay. I'll put it in the show notes.
Thank you. And we have a whole hog extravaganza. This will be the 6th whole hog extravaganza, and that is in January. And then we'll have a business of barbecue class in either March or April.
Okay.
We really plan these classes sort of around our times that aren't so busy.
Okay, that makes
sense.
sense.
So we have those 3 classes each year.
And so there still are spaces available for those classes?
Yeah, there are plenty of spaces in both of those. I have not even announced the lineup for the whole hog class. That class is special because we invite 5 to 7 other barbecuers to come and take part in that. So we demo and cook a lot of different hogs, different styles, different woods, different seasonings, and then we get to eat them all so you can sort of compare and contrast.
Oh, that's great knowledge.
Different hogs. Yes, we do brisket. We always do some specialty item. We do a porchetta. You're really getting some great demo from the who's who of the barbecue world. You would have to travel thousands of miles to visit all of these people. They wouldn't really have the time to sit with you and show you everything they show you here under one roof. We always have some sort of media partner who comes and covers the class. This past year we had Lucky Peach.
Oh.
They came. Unfortunately, they are closing their magazine, but they are a barbecue book, and they interviewed people for that. And there's a Netflix series, and they filmed for that Netflix series.
So for the barbecue,
well.
It's coming out soon, isn't it? I think it's a barbecue journals or barbecue travel. I forget what it was called.
I'm not sure what they're calling that, but the whole show is about many other things, but ours is going to be the barbecue.
Oh, okay, okay. So it's something else.
Yeah.
Well, so now for your shipping, what items do you ship across the United States?
So we ship barbecue sauces, magic dust, T-shirts, other little, coffee mugs, some other items like that. Our books that you can have personalized and autographed, and then we ship ribs, pulled pork, and baked beans.
Okay.
So we ship food items.
And that's a pretty big business for you guys too, right?
It is. The food items are not quite as large of a business as just the sauce and other items because the shipping is so prohibitive.
Gotcha.
So it can cost much, much more to ship than food actually costs.
Yeah, and that's how it is for barbecue across the United States. It seems it's really expensive.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. We also offer our food through Foodie Direct, and that's a $12.50 flat rate shipping.
Oh.
So that's really a better deal.
Definitely.
For people who want to order barbecue. But then, of course, I have to pay Foodie Direct. So
it'd be better to get it through you guys. Go directly to the source, I always say.
I don't care how.
No, that's true. And it's
I just like to get it in people's hands.
So for the book tour, are you currently on your book tour, or are you finishing that up right now?
I just finished the first leg of it this weekend in Nashville, and then for the rest of this month, I'm not doing too much. It's the beginning of school and the end of summer in some places. We're going to ramp things back up again in the fall.
And tell us a little bit about the book. What differentiates it from Peace, Love, and Barbecue?
So Praise the Lord is very different. It is really the story of 17th Street. It is the story of my dad's journey in barbecue and my parallel journey in barbecue many years later. It talks a lot about our town. It's really a love letter to our town and to our families and to this place that we have worked so hard to create. So there are about 100 recipes, and they are recipes from our restaurant, from our catering operation, and then sort of treasured family recipes and things we make at home.
Okay, yeah, and it's great. It's definitely worthwhile, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes too, because it's something that people, and I've seen it all. It makes me so happy. Every bookstore I go to, which there aren't as many bookstores as there used to, but I see big displays, and it makes me so happy for you guys.
Well, that makes me happy too. It was definitely a labor of love. the first book was a lot of black and white pictures of people, and I actually did the photography
Oh, I didn't know
in
that.
the first book. I did. I'm a journalism student, so I have a little knowledge about all that.
Good.
But this book is, beautiful food photography by Ken Goodman, who I think is so wildly talented. And it's structured a little bit more like a regular cookbook. So in addition to meat, and I'm actually really proud of the meat chapter in this book, because a lot of books say, cook the barbecue until internal temperature of 185.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't tell you all the steps along the way. So this tells you, this is what you're looking for. After 30 minutes, do this. After an hour, do that. It's very, very detailed cooking instructions, and it has a really great whole hog chapter too, with some very detailed instructions. So I'm really proud of that.
Well, thank you for putting it out. We definitely appreciate it on this side for sure. So So the rest of this year, what is that? Where can people see you? Will you be at the American Royal? Will you?
I am not sure, because of the date change of the American Royal, how that's happening. I know. I'm pretty sure Mike will be there because of some Hall of Fame activities. I'm not sure that I will make that. We actually are in the path of totality for the eclipse that's coming up on August 21st.
Oh, you are? Oh, that's great.
We are. So it's all hands on deck here to get through that, because we're expecting hundreds of thousands of people.
Easily.
I'm not quite sure what to expect. So then we have the Kentucky State Barbecue Festival in Danville, Kentucky, in early September. We have our own Apple Festival the week after that. We have our own cook-off the week after that, which is 30th anniversary this year. So it's a dual sanctioned MBN and KCBS cook-off, and it's tons of fun. We have people who come from about 14 states and other countries. We've had England and Germany come to compete as well.
That's so wild.
It's so wild, yes. We are going to be in Austin, Charleston, Dallas, and Louisville. We'll be at the Jack Daniels. Then that sort of takes us into November, when we have our catering class. And then we will be busy with holiday parties and all of those, just normal business. Yes, and then we'll ramp back up again in January.
Well, you're extremely busy, and I definitely appreciate you taking the time. And I love what you do. I've never been to your restaurant. I've been in contact with you guys for years, but I have to come out, and I'll definitely come out and take one of your classes, because it just seems like a life-changing experience.
I think you would like it, and what's really special are the people you meet in the class become your friends too, and kind of your whole little network. And I love seeing people posting pictures on Facebook when they visit one another. And we have a guy from Alaska, Jack Goodsoul, at Turn Again Armpit Barbecue.
Okay, well, I didn't know that one. That's so funny. I don't know.
Yes. But people have been to visit him, and they post pictures on Facebook, and it makes me really happy to connect people. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Well, you guys are spreading the love, and I appreciate it. And say hello to your father, and thank you for taking the time. And I'll shoot you a link when I post this up.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.